Welcome back again. Well, I left you at Cairns and I need to talk a little bit about Cairns. What a lovely place it was. I anchored outside, right outside the town, and enjoyed all the highlights of Cairns. It was a fantastic place for me. I slipped the boat, done work on it, and left Cairns late January and headed straight for Fitzroy Island. It was a bit of a false start because the weather was really bad. It was so bad in fact that I went back to Cairns for a couple of days and left again, went to Fitzroy Island. Worked my way down the coast to Dunk Island, Goold Island. There were just so many places to stop and visit, and I'm going to not even mention some of the islands. Hinchinbrook Island, went to Cardwell, down through the Hinchinbrook Channel, come out the front, went to Zoe Island on the west coast, Orpheus Island, Herald Island, got down to Townsville, Magnetic Island, out in the reef, fishing. I mean, it was just, there's islands here I just haven't mentioned. Cape Bowling Green, Bowen. I went to Bowen and stayed there for $60 a week in the marina. Bowen was probably the perfect example of how nice people are in Australia. They were just so relaxed, and I spent a month there. My wife came up and she's to visit the Whitsundays, so we went down to the Whitsundays, spent a week or so there. Unfortunately, while we were there, Cyclone Isa went past and everyone went home except me. I stayed out in the islands, and in Sid Harbour it was blowing 60 knots on the anchor. There was whirly-whirlies going past us, whirly-willies of waterspouts. And I said to the wife, it's blowing 60 knots there, I said, don't worry, he said, I know a lot about cyclones. If it goes north of us, I know where we're going to hide, and if it goes south of us, the cyclone, I'll go and hide here. And she said to me, see that tin shed on the wharf there? I said, yes. She said, I'm going to pack all my shit up and lock myself in there. I don't care where you go. So that was sort of the end of her time on the boat, really. Took her back to Bowen and she went home. But from then on, I worked my way down through the reef and all the islands, just miles of islands. I can't even mention them all. I went to most of them and worked my way down to past Mackay, and in Mackay I met a friend of mine, Lindsay Dowie, who used to live with me around the corner from me when I was a kid, and went to school with him. Hadn't seen him for 40 years and stayed at his house. So it was just you know, highlights like that made the trip. And I visited friends up in the scrub there. They got a lovely little house up in the scrub there, and Ronnie Pearson and his lovely wife living in absolute nirvana, really. It's a fantastic place. Visited them a couple of times, worked my way down the coast. Brampton Island, Scawfell Island. I was at Scawfell Island and I remember saying to someone, you know, I'm having a lot of trouble getting out of Queensland because it was so nice. Everyone was nice, relaxed. It was just absolutely beautiful. Went to Keppel Island, went into Yeppoon, and I met a couple of friends there, Desi and Annie O'Connell, stayed at their house. It was just the hospitality was just great to see them again. And worked my way down to Fraser Island. I went to Lady Musgrave Reef, went into Gladstone, done an oil change, down the inside of Fraser, went to Tin Can Bay. Wee bit of time in Tin Can Bay, I really loved it there, it was really nice. Come across the Wide Bay Bar and headed down to Mooloolaba. I went into Mooloolaba because a friend used to live there, and I left Mooloolaba and went into Brisbane. Now, I went right up the Brisbane River and tied up opposite the Botanical Gardens right in the centre of Brisbane. Now the good thing about Brisbane was not only the tying up it right in the middle of the city, 5-minute walk, but I've seen friends that I hadn't seen for a long time. John Boyce and his wife, Bruce Pickard, who I hadn't seen for 25 years, my auntie, Erin and Paul Boddicker, and Jeff Jeffries, another fisherman I used to know, I hadn't seen for 40 years. Now seeing those people made my trip. I thought it was just fantastic to spend time with them, and you know, that was the main focus of the trip, meeting people. So you'll see from the photographs where I've been, and hope you enjoyed the segment. Thank you. need to know anything else, subscribe to Kolesnikov Productions and ask questions, send messages, and I'll reply to them, or we'll do our best to reply. Thanks for watching.